This is the channel that has manufactured consent to kill millions. And here they are like, well, I think he's actually a right winger. Cornel West says, in the spirit of a broad united front and coalition strategy, I am pursuing the nomination of the Green Party for President of the United States. Go to CornelWest24.com for more information to continue to support this unprecedented effort to empower precious poor and working people here and abroad. I thank the volunteers of the People's Party for the initial launch. So this is exciting a lot of people because this is a lot of people pointed out when he announced that he was running on the People's Party that they, at the moment, only have ballot access in 3 or so states. And so the uphill climb to get more ballot access was going to be immense. But so many people are excited about this, saying, oh, he's got a better shot in the Green Party. Others who maybe worked very hard for the People's Party are upset about this. I did hear an interview on Black Agenda Report with Cornel West, and, you know, they didn't spend much time on it. It wasn't like, why'd you leave the People's Party? But he did mention that he's like, well, you know, there's a lot of internal squabbling and stuff. And so I want to just make the campaign something that can focus on the issues. And so that was something that he said.
Seems like a pragmatic move.
Seems pragmatic. Are you a fan?
I love Cornel West. That time we did that show with him, and yes, he referred to me on stage as Brother Jaffer. That was the greatest moment of my life. So thank you for that.
I mean, I can start calling you Brother Jaffer if it helps.
Yeah, please do. I demand it from everyone, but he's the only one who's listened. But yeah, I love Cornel West, so I'm excited.
Yes, we did do a benefit for Julian Assange in New York City with Cornel West and Roger Waters and Randy Credico. The thing I found perhaps weirdest about that night is of all that lineup, I was the one being protested out front.
Oh, yeah, that was hilarious.
There was a guy with a sandwich board like, leecamp's a fraud.
Yeah, that was a badge of honor for you to wear.
And then I didn't see it, but apparently Cornel West, who is like, he's open to engaging with anyone. He's been on all these right-wing shows, and he's always, it's like, listen, brother Tucker Carlson, you may be a fascist, but you're my brother.
He's a true Christian in that way. You know, he really embodies that. So I appreciate that about him.
He feels he can speak to anyone. So he walked up to this kind of loon who was screaming about me and everything. And he was like, and he goes, my brother, can we talk about that? And the guy switches immediately from leecamp's a fraud to Cornel West is a fraud. Cornel West. And Cornel apparently was just like, all right, and walked away.
Yeah, that was my first time meeting him. He was walking in and he was like, that guy was crazy.
The guy even managed to break Cornel West.
Yeah.
We will be, speaking of running for president, and you're helping me out a little with this, I'm going to be the campaign manager for a grayish brown rock I found in my yard. And we will be announcing that run pretty soon. So
very excited about that campaign.
I mean, at the very least, he's not a war criminal.
Yeah, not a war criminal. Never voted for NAFTA. That's huge.
That's a big one. That's a big one. But I want to show everybody how the liberal media that considers itself left wing when it's not is already on the offensive, attacking Cornel West. This is from MSNBC. Apparently, The Nation did kind of a hit piece as well. But Cornel West's, quote, leftist presidential bid has right-wing DNA.
How dare MSNBC accuse someone else of being a fake leftist?
I know.
That is wild.
This is the channel that has manufactured consent to kill millions. And here they are like, well, I think he's actually a right-winger. So then this guy, this pathetic writer, attempts to go through the ways he knows that Cornel West is actually a right-winger. ostensibly leftist academic Cornel West. And it's like he comes to the conclusion that Cornel West once supported some, it's called the classic learning test in Florida that was put together by Ron DeSantis. So because he said something positive about this learning test, that
he seemed to just support like this particular alternative to the SATs. So I don't know much about it, but
I don't know hardly anything about it. But it's like, even if he, let's say he were wrong, I don't know enough about it to say, but let's say he was wrong to endorse this thing. That does not make him Ron DeSantis. Like, yeah, it's pure idiocy. Then he goes on to say, plus he launched his campaign on Russell Brand's show, a comic who's known for spreading right-wing conspiracy theories. It's not actually true. I mean, yes, Russell Brand sometimes will jump into the clickbait with certain conspiracies, but if you look at what Russell Brand has said, like lay it all out over years and years, it's at minimum left-wing and at maximum like leftist anti-capitalist. So the idea that Russell Brand is some far right winger is pure lunacy. Mm-hmm. And if you saw what they talked about in that interview, it's like how to create peace, how to not have war anymore, like how to care for people. All those things MSNBC doesn't give a fuck about.
Right-wing lunacy.
Yeah. And so this was the entirety of his evidence. That
was the other thing too. It's like I'm getting ready to like the intro. It's like setting me up for like this like thorough hit piece, because you know from this just the beginning he's about to go in and then it's 4 paragraphs long. Yeah, and you're waiting to hear like, oh, he signed a $500,000 deal with ExxonMobil or something like. Exactly. Nope, not at all. But this, to me, this really just shows how pathetic our mainstream media is, how right-wing it is. I mean, the fact that they cannot stomach for one day, I mean, I think he'd been running for one day, that an actual leftist, that an actual anti-capitalist, that an actual anti-imperialist could run for president. And they spent all of a few hours before unleashing hit pieces. So did The Nation, apparently, put out a hit piece against Cornel West. And it's just pathetic, and it shows they're not left wing. They're not slightly left wing. What are they going to tell you? The alternative is vote for Joe Biden, Mr. Left Winger Joe Biden. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is pathetic. It's funny, I guess, how predictable it is, but the execution of that article is just hilarious. It's like 4 sentences long. It's so short. It's like the best you can do. This is what passes for research in today's mainstream media. I went and I looked at his Twitter thread, and I found one thing he said positive about Ron DeSantis. Mm-hmm. And that's it. That's all I need to know. Yeah, my favorite line, he's like, mentions the People's Party and links to like sometime they like had like an agreement on like one thing with Tucker Carlson. And then he goes, so yeah, there's that. Just like cringe millennial speak, passing for journalism. Just like awkward. Dude, quit your job. This sucks. Yeah, there was, but he puts the 3 W's in awkward. So yeah. I feel like that really sells it. So yes, to sum up here, Cornel West has switched to the Green Party. There is a primary process in the Green Party, so he'll be running for their nomination.